Good morning. Day 4, good morning. Well, let me say good morning to the host state for the Democratic National Convention, the great state of Illinois. Folks, my name is Andy Beshear. If you don't know me, I'm the guy that last November beat Mitch McConnell's handpicked candidate by 5 points in Kentucky. I'm the guy that last November beat Donald Trump's handpicked candidate by 5 points in Kentucky. And along with all of you, I'm a guy that's going to help Kamala Harris beat him again this November. To introduce myself, I am a proud pro-union governor. I'm a proud pro-choice governor. I'm a proud pro-public education governor. I am a proud friend of your governor, J.B. Pritzker. I am a proud pro-diversity governor. And I'm a proud Kamala Harris for President of the United States governor. This has been a wild couple of days. Energy like I have never seen before. Energy that is going to help us win this race, but more importantly, energy that's going to help us get to a better place. I believe in this election, we're not just fighting to make sure that we don't go back. We're fighting to move forward to get to a better America. You know, it seems like these last 8 years, every day has been an us versus a them, a boiling point in our country where we've been asked to pick a side, and everything from the car you drive to the beer you drink. Somehow beer got political in there. But this ticket, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, is going to remind us after November that we are Americans first and everything else second, third, or fourth. They are a ticket that remembers that every day when people wake up, while we're here thinking about this race, most people are thinking about their job and whether they make enough to support their family. They're thinking about the next doctor's appointment for themselves, their parents, or their kids. They're thinking about the roads and bridges they're going to drive that day. They're thinking about the public school they're dropping their kids off at, and they're thinking about public safety in their community. When we run and when we govern in those areas, we don't move our states to the right or the left. We move them forward for every single citizen, and this ticket is going to move this country forward for every single American. I'm here today because we've got to remember that as Democrats, we have to fight in every single part of America. We can't think about this country as red states or blue states, red counties or blue counties, because in each and every one of those counties, there are American families who deserve good leadership. You look at what's happened in my state now with a Democratic governor. We've broken every economic development record. We are on the best roll of my lifetime. We've broken the record for private sector investment, for new jobs, for exports, for tourism. We've got record low recidivism, and our drug overdose deaths have gone down 2 years in a row, giving us true hope. When we lead with our values of empathy, of compassion, of recognizing that every human being deserves respect and has dignity, then we do good things for all of our people. Why I'm excited about this energy is it's going to remind this country that what we look for in leaders isn't just members of a certain political party. It's people who are going to fight every single day to better the lives of all of our people. And let me tell you, this ticket's going to do it. Kamala Harris is smart and strong, and that's going to make her a good president. But she's also kind and has empathy, and that's going to make her a great president. And Senator, I know Tim Walz really well. You know, in fact, I was in this little thing called the Veep Stakes for a minute. JB and I talked a lot during that period. But let me tell you, she chose a great man, a great governor, a great friend of mine, and he is going to be an amazing vice president of the United States of America. And think about the contrast. Tim Walz is real. I mean, you see what you get. He is the same way on that stage last night as when we talked just about every other day. Think about a vice president who has been a teacher. Don't we deserve a vice president who's been a classroom teacher? Who's been a coach. And while all that's impressive, he has also been the lunchroom monitor. And some days, I bet, Senator, in Congress, we could use a lunchroom monitor helping us out. But just what he brings in the comparison to J.D. Vance. I mean, while Tim Walz is out there trying to bring us together, speaking with kindness, J.D. Vance is throwing out names to anybody he can. I mean, calling adults that have chosen not to have children psychopaths and sociopaths, pretending he's from my state. Well, let me tell you this about J.D. Vance. He ain't from Kentucky. He ain't from Appalachia, and he ain't going to be your vice president. This is such an important election. It's an important election because it gives us a chance to move forward. Now, hearing the senator talk about Tammy Duckworth's service, she's incredible, and so are you. Thank you all for your leadership. But it made me think about Tim's service in the National Guard and how awful it is that someone would attack someone who has given decades of his life to the National Guard. As Kentucky's governor, I've had to call out our Guard after the worst tornadoes in our history and after the worst flooding in our history. In the pandemic, when I sent our National Guard into hospitals, that's when our nurses took a breath and said, we will make it. We need more people signing up for our Guard at a time where we don't see it enough. We've got to lift that service up, and we've got to make sure we never make it political. And this is personal to me. You may remember when Tower 22 in Jordan was attacked by our foreign adversaries. We lost 3 service members from Georgia in that attack. What most people don't know is the Kentucky National Guard was leading the mission at that moment in Tower 22. And I saw one of the senator's Republican colleagues get on one of the news shows that day. And the first thing that he said wasn't, we have been attacked, our country needs to come together. That's what he should have said. It wasn't that he was praying for the families of those that have been lost. That's what he should have said. No, instead, he used it as a means to attack people from the other party. We are not each other's enemies. This is not an us versus a them. And when people try to turn those most important things that we should all be together unified for into ways that divide us, it tells us that we have to win that next election and ultimately end this anger politics once and for all. So I'm going to do my best, travel into some of the areas that are the toughest. You know, in my state, we don't win with a red to blue strategy, we win with a red to pink strategy. That in each of these counties, if we can do 3 to 5% better, knowing that there are folks out there that are hungry, knowing that we all want a future where 5 to 7 states don't determine the presidency, where everyone is seen and heard and feels valued, where we as one nation can get back to talking about real issues that impact the lives of our people and not just hurling insults at each other. So Illinois, I know you're going to deliver this November. I know you're going to continue to send great members to Congress. I know you're going to continue to show leadership in how you run this state and ultimately how you get out there and work during elections. And for that, we are really grateful. I am convinced that there is a better day in front of us, that if we don't lose hope and we continue to push, if we keep this energy high all the way through November, but then we recognize that elections are just a means to an end, it's not over that day. Right? The work after Election Day is about bringing this country together. It's about lowering the temperature. It's about making sure that we get back to being the type of neighbors that live out the golden rule in the parable of the Good Samaritan. And when we do, we will open people's minds and hearts. We'll give them the grace and the space to hear and to come on board. And I hope that tonight, while we are talking about the things that we believe in, that our leaders also look at that camera and say, folks, no matter what party you're in, there's room for you here. There's room for you in this campaign. And we see you, we respect you, and we want you to be a part of the special things that are going on. So this November, we are going to deliver a resounding victory. And then we are going to deliver for this country and get us all to that better place. Thank you all very much.